Hey, my name is DEON Hayes, author of Gettin-It and Chronicles-of-Jay-Razor, and I'm on JRLive.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, JRLive, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio. Are you aware of the many ways that you can heal your body naturally using alternative methods? My name is Valerie Moore, and I'm the author of My Healing Therapies. My Healing Therapies is a book that unveils 7 ways to naturally heal your body, restore your mind, and revive your spirit. Visit my website at www.purpleroseHolisticHealth.com or reach me by phone at 443-451-2689.
Hey, have you ever heard of Vagina Talk? Have you ever had a conversation with your vagina? If you haven't, you're missing out on one hell of a conversation. This is Purple Barbie, the author of This Is Your Vagina, The Vagina is Where the Heart Is. Join me on a quick adventure as one woman reclaims her life by releasing her past and reestablishing her future, all with the help of the one who knows her the best. You can call her V.
Are you looking to vacation soon? Let Roberts Travel Services help you reach your travel needs. We specialize in group travel, honeymoon, girlfriend getaways, mission trips, and more. You can reach us at 404-939-6638. You can email us at robertstravelservices@gmail.com and on the web at www.robertstourismservices.com and look us up on Facebook at Roberts Travel Services.
What's stopping you from making more, having more, and being more? Hi, I'm Helen McMillan. I'm a success coach. I can help you shift into your $1 million zone of joyful success. Be your most magnetic, confident, and powerful self. The first step is to get my free ebook, 7 Simple Ways to Shift into Your $1 Million Zone. Go to www.yourmilliondollarzone.com and download it now.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to Positive Power 21.org. I am the voice of JRLive, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power. And today's sponsors are REI Heritage Tours in Cambridge, Maryland, home of Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. To book your scenic driving tour with more than 30 sites related to Harriet Tubman and the freedom seekers of the 1800s, call 1-800-522-TOUR. And if you're in Baltimore, contact the Reginald Lewis Museum, and I believe they're coming down pretty much every month with a 44-passenger bus. All right, and then to finish up, we have Pamela Samuel Young, author of Anybody's Daughter. And also she's authoring Kinky Corley, a natural hair resource guide. She's an attorney, author, and natural hair enthusiast. Pamela shares the natural hair care practices, products, and online resources that took her from hair disaster to natural hair heaven. Purchase both of her books. Her official website is www.PamelaSamuels-Young.com. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Tonight we have DEON Hayes. He introduced the show. He's born in Bronx, New York, raised in Bristol, Pennsylvania. He's 20 minutes outside of Philly, married 11 years, 4 kids, 1 boy and 3 girls. Been writing since '88, have 2 books out right now, Gettin-It and the Chronicles-of-Jay-Razor, both available through Amazon.com. And he's hoping to be dropping 4 more before the end of this year. And yes, he's always working on something. Hey, DEON, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to JRLive. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, thank you.
All right, man. Appreciate having you on here, man. Now, you only gave us like 4 lines of your bio, and you've been married for 11 years. You got a lot of stories, man.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, you've been writing for a long time. Tell us a little bit about, how you got started in writing, and then, did you switch genres? Any influences out there? Any favorite authors? Give it to us, man.
Well, favorite authors, I have a few. I have Eric S. Gray, Quan, and it's a handful of others. Donald Goines was one of my favorites growing up, and reading a lot of him.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me an inspiration to, basically, his books is like, I model my books after him, like, as far as, like, he can grab you in with first couple pages.
Wow.
And that's what I try to do. Like, first couple pages you read, you're hooked. You want to finish the book.
So that's your style, huh?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, man. That's how you got to do it. All right. And so you've been writing since '88. So now, were you writing with a writing club or anything like that in high school or before high school? Did you have a love for writing because you were a lover of reader? Love to read books or action books?
Yeah, I was just an avid reader, and I wanted to start writing. It inspired me, so I started writing and everything. And I was just writing by myself, short stories, poetry, and everything. And then what happened was my best friend got a hold of it, and he started reading through it because my sister wanted to buy me a briefcase to keep all my writing in. Mm-hmm. And he's looking through my room one day. He sees it. He was like, "Yo, you got to write a book. These stories are too hot." Wow. And so basically him and my ex-girlfriend convinced me to write a book.
Wow. So what year was that? That was in high school? Or
that was in my last year of high school, 89.
Wow, man. So you were spending some time in the room then, man. It takes some time to put out manuscript. You just can't just spit it out in the class. All right. Wow. So what did your teacher say about that? I mean, did they know what you were doing outside the classroom?
It was basically, no, not really, because I just always had an interest in taking pictures, and I like art, but I can't draw for nothing, but I can write. So I went towards the one I was stronger at, Yeah,
and it's hard to have both of those. And there are some people out there that can do it, but it's not an easy thing to have both of those blessings like that. All right. So did you write for the high school newspaper? Follow sports teams, stuff like that?
No, I used to. What I did was I started going to like poetry slams and poetry readings everywhere, and I got my first follow on doing that. I was going to like Barnes and Nobles the first Friday every month. They had poetry, and that was like I first got my little piece of like celebrity status or whatever. I'm walking through the mall with my girlfriend, and this whole group of kids was like, "Yo, that's the dreamer, because that was the name I went by, my poetry name." And he was like, "That's the dreamer." He was like, "Yo, his poetry is awesome." I'm looking at him like, "Is this for real? Is this really happening?" But yeah, he was like, "Oh man," he's telling everybody. And I started doing shirts, and I started putting all my like poems or quotes on shirts, and I put the dreamer under it. And I started selling them like crazy. So every time I went to the poetry readings, people were looking forward to buying my shirts.
Wow.
So I did that. I just tried to run with whatever I could.
Yeah. So with all that business in you, man, and the business major, I mean, did you stop publishing or printing your T-shirts? You stop all that?
I stopped for a while, and basically, like, people asked for them. And when they asked for them, I was like, well, if I got a following and doing that, then I should give them what they want. So I started doing it. And I have, like, friends that are, like have delis or whatever, and I'll do it in them. A little here, a little there.
Oh, okay. So you do have some shirts still floating around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that when you go to a restaurant and while you stand there, you see T-shirts, that you may want to buy, to remember the occasion that you had at that restaurant. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, good for you, man. So that's you still rocking it then?
Yeah, I try to do anything I can to get myself out there further.
Yeah, and that helped you out with your books. Now, you do anything with JRLive and gettin-it? You have T-shirts for those books?
No, not yet, but I am. I'm working on getting something with that. And the thing about JRLive is his character. It's like everybody was like, asked me how did I come up with the character. And most of my characters I come up with is like either through my experience in life or a friend of my experience. You know.
Now, I don't know. Now I was gonna say I don't know anything about the Chronicles of Jay-Razor. So right now, this book JRLive is actually like it's a few more of these books out there, or this is just the beginning of JRLive?
This is the beginning.
Oh, okay, the beginning. All right. So since you say you have a few friends, like, okay, tell me about that friend or you that's in that book right now. Tell me about that character.
Well, the character is about, it's a how do you the character spark is a girl got pregnant at a young age, and her mother didn't believe in getting an abortion, so she made her go full term with the kid. And then she gave it up for adoption once it was born. And then the story flips over to be told from the boy growing up in foster homes and everything and having it hard. And he's little, and in foster homes, you know how kids could be mean and everything, or whatever. So he learned how to eat, sleep, and everything with a razor in his mouth for protection from the other boys.
JRLive.
So.
So you know somebody? I'm sorry. But you know somebody like JRLive?
Yeah, I know. Like a couple of my friends have been adopted and been shuffled around in foster homes and everything.
And that's what they had to do. They did their same. They did their same move.
Yeah.
Wow. So what a razor blade in that mouth.
You had to grow up trying to keep the boys off your back and everything. You see the other boys getting bullied, whatever. So it's coming towards your way. So you do whatever you can. And just sitting down and telling their stories. And I'm like, wow.
So they got to cut somebody. Yeah, and it's crazy. It's fun. That's a world that's so intriguing because I had a neighbor who both him and his wife they would adopt girls, high school girls and high school boys, and both of them were working in the high schools. So they kind of knew what some of the kids were going through. And I remember they told us, they said, yeah, you're going to be seeing some kids around here. They my kids. And she didn't really say who exactly, but I found out from another neighbor who they really were. But I see the girls outside. Sometimes they be out there smoking because they couldn't smoke in the house. And then I heard that he had this one kid he introduced, and the kid kind of looked like him, so I thought it was his son because he was tall, kind of quiet, pretty much like my neighbor. But he had an incident with the young man, and I didn't see him anymore. And they said what happened, they got in a fight over the homework. He didn't want to do his homework. And then I think the kid was already like 16, 17, so he's about to, I guess, go out on his own anyway. And I said, wow, man, here this kid had it made because these people live pretty nice. They were administrators in the school system. They had 2 cars, nice. And the kid looked nice, clean and everything. Her haircut was always had a fresh haircut. I would wonder why a kid would snap, like that when his living conditions that's probably the best he's ever seen, especially compared to a group home. That's probably where he was going next. So what would a kid, why would he snap like that, knowing, what he's up against?
It's like kind of like I can only describe it like as like an armadillo syndrome. Like an armadillo can be walking around and it's going to get attacked. It's going to curl up and protect itself, and maybe that's the only way he knows how to respond. Like some kids, like I always tell my kids, watch how you react to something, because the reaction could be, devastating. You never know what. I mean, like I tell them, don't fight in anger because you can hit somebody, and the regrets after that action is done. You never know what's going to come. What's to follow.
That's right.
I said you can hit a kid, you just want to hit him to get him off you, and he falls, hits his head on the corner of a table, and then all of a sudden it's not a fight anymore. He got murdered or whatever. You never know. And I mean, and it's just like a kid. Like you can raise a kid and you got certain expectations from them, but a kid that's been damaged, you don't know how far their wound went. So you trying to explain it from a normal kid's perspective, but you got this kid that every time something happened and he got hurt, the only way he knows how to do is defend himself.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? You're trying to talk about it rationally, but it's not a rational situation to the kids because they're not used to rational situations.
Yeah. I said it was a shame because he seemed like a real nice kid, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to be shipped off to a group home, and then that was going to be put in his record, you know, that he attacked his caregiver. And I was like, man. But, you know, you see some stuff out there, and you can't really explain. I mean, you know, like this show, for example, you know, I get so many guests, man, that's been on this show that were victims of child abuse, adult, domestic abuse, you know, maybe just a few years out, and they wrote about it because they recovered. And he's like, wow, man, you know, other human beings that are damaged are messing up a normal kid's life, a kid who was doing okay, you know, and then they introduce this darkness to them, and now they have to. And this is stuff that people stays with them for the rest of their life, man. Their mind is it's engraved in there. And they just can't. No matter what kind of programs they go in, they just can't get release that problem, the issue.
Yeah, because it goes deeper than you would think. Because once the kid is damaged, they got to go through years of therapy and to even talk about it. Yeah, or really go down deep enough to bring it out. Yeah,
and they keep it to themselves, and it's like the book is almost like the therapy part of it, because now they're telling people about it, and it's out there now, and then they're coming on shows, and they feel a lot better, like, you know, a big relief, and they can raise a normal family. And some of those women that's been on my show, they have good relationships now. Yeah, real good relationship. So
some people can actually come out of that shell and bounce back from it, but some of them have been hurt so deep they just want to hurt other people like they've been hurt.
Yeah, and that was something. And I asked them, I said, why did your man? And it was one story I had was so interesting. I hope you guys will tune into that show. This woman was married, and her husband was a normal guy. You know, they would have conversations about it. You know, he came home and said, hey, you know, these guys I hang out with, they beat their women, and you know, and they drink a lot. And next thing you know, he took on that behavior. So it was like learned behavior. Man, wow. And he was normal. But you know, some kind of way, he woke up the dragon. So this kid that's in this JRLive, so he grows up. So tell me about the book. Let's talk about the book a little bit. Be ready to talk.
So what happened is he's one of them kids that he just felt like, well, he gets in this also, and he's thinking into himself, and he's like, what did he do that was so wrong that his mom didn't want him, that she just dropped him off at this place? Because this is basically what hell is, if he can experience hell. And he gets adopted one time. His first time he gets adopted, he gets his family, and the family is the Millers, and they have this a little girl, and the guy, once he had the girl, he couldn't have any more kids, and he always wanted a boy, so they adopted Jay. And he comes there, and the first thing the little girl thinks is she's daddy's little princess. She gets this, she gets that, and she's not going to get everything now because they got another kid in the family. Wow. So in order to get rid of him, she starts basically stealing little things here and there since he gets there. And they think it's no other than him. That's right. Because it wasn't going on before he got there. Right. And then to seal the deal, she wound up stealing her dad's Rolex and put it in his top sock drawer. And the mom was going to put away his clothes and found it. And they confronted him, and he was like, I've never seen it before. They didn't believe him. They took him back. Wow. And he was like, wow. And he was like, he liked the house, he liked the family and everything, this and that. So he thought, and he got a little more depressed once he took back to the foster home, because other kids that didn't get it, they were picking at him, and he was like, he's feeling some kind of way anyway. Now he was like, all right, his mom didn't want him. Now this family don't want him. Like, maybe there is something wrong with him. And then he gets adopted again by another family, and they have 2 kids. They have a son that's like a year older than him, and they have a younger daughter that's like maybe 5 or whatever. Because then now when he gets adopted the second time, he's 11.
Okay.
And the boy that's older than him, he's 12. And once he gets to the family house, he likes it and everything, and they wind up like going out and play baseball every day. It's just little things like that. And he goes out and playing baseball with him. Then one day his new brother tells him like he goes in the house and he's looking for the bat and the glove and everything. And he comes out and he's looking for his brother. And he doesn't see him. So he's walking in the backyard and he hears like a little muffled voice coming out of the shed.
Mm-hmm.
And he snatches open the shed doors and he sees his new brother molesting his new sister.
Ooh.
And he grabs a bat. He just goes in a rage and he starts beating his brother. He drags him out and he starts beating him with a bat. And they hear the screams. The parents, they run out the house. And, of course, who do you think they're going to believe? So he gets taken back this time. Now he's frustrated with the system. He's frustrated with everything. He says he's going to run away from the foster home. So it's like every third night, a laundry truck parks right up under his window. And it's like 3 stories down. But a guy comes, he parks there. He goes in. He unloads all their clothes and all their sheets and everything. He loads the back of the truck with him. Then he goes in and has a cup of coffee. This is routine. As Jay talked to the guy before. So once he does that, he's like hoping and praying. He's like, this is the night he's going to escape. And the guy, like clockwork, pulls right up under the window. He comes out. He loads all these big bags filled with sheets and everything. So Jay goes, he jumps 3 stories. He's going to land in the back of his truck and be good. And he does. And he was like, he got together maybe like $300. He was gambling with the boys in the yard and everything. He jumps in the window. In the truck. He lands. He covers himself up, waits to the guy, drinks his coffee, and comes, drives him outside of town. He knows where the guy goes because he talks to him. And as soon as he parks at the stop, he gets out of the truck and he runs across the street to a bus stop. And he buys a one-way ticket to D.C. And once he does that, he was like, he's on a bus. He's waiting for the bus. And once the bus comes, it's just playing on his mind that, wow, he's finally going to be on his own. But now he got to learn how to live on the streets. And it's like all the books he's ever read and everything is like basically his instincts are kicking in. And he was like, he winds up meeting a girl on a bus, maybe like 4 stops in. Winds up meeting a girl. And the story basically changes to, it's kind of like I would say like a modern day Bonnie and Clyde, except they're not robbing banks. They're like going to different towns and they're conning people in order to basically live.
Oh, they're con artists.
Exactly.
Okay.
He learns. She's a booster because she was with the little girls and she had her story. It comes in to tell her story and everything, and she was like, every other girl that was her age were out there selling their bodies or whatever, and she never wanted to do that because she had too much respect for herself. So she started becoming like, she used to boost. She stole clothes for drug dealers or whatever to get money any way she could other than selling her body.
Yeah.
So she does that, and he meets her, and he don't trust anybody, but him and her basically click. They got this thing that she's been hurt, he's been hurt, and they basically click. And he never had anything new or whatever, so she's basically sizing him up and everything. And he was like, when they were on the bus, he was talking to her, and they get into this deep conversation, and she was like, let me ask you something. She was like, are you going to meet somebody? And he said, kind of, sort of. I'm going to meet my destiny. And she was like, well, good luck with that. I know what that's like and whatever. And she's talking to him some more. And she thought she was, like, comfortable with him. And she was like, since we're sitting here busting it up and everything, he was like, is there any way that I can stay with you when we get to the town we're going to? And he was like, well, I'm not really trusting somebody is not my strong point. And he's telling her, and then she turns cold, and she was like, all right, whatever. And then he was like, I could offer you $50. He said, I can give you $50 or whatever. And she was like, okay. She said, can I take you up on that offer? Boom, boom. The bus gets to the stop. And she was like, okay. She's sizing him up.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her the hotel he's going to stay at because she says she's going to pay him back. And he don't believe her. He stays at a hotel, and he's sitting there. He comes in his hotel room, and he's like, he sees his bed, he sees his sink, this and that and everything. And he's like, wow. He was like, he finally has everything he wants as long as he pays for it. He never had his own bed. I mean, he's used to being, in a foster home and everything. Yeah, exactly. So he was like, wow, this is like a piece of heaven to him. So as soon as he closes the door and he leaves her, and he's jumping up and down on the bed, he's happy, and he can finally take a shower without watching his back and everything. So he's so relaxed, and he's sitting there. And after he gets out of the shower, he's laying on the bed, and not maybe like an hour and two later, he hears a knock at the door, and he's like, who the heck is that? He goes, he opens the shade, and he sees it's this girl that he gave the money to. She comes, she got 2 bags, and she's smiling. He opens the door, he lets her in, and she's pulling out this Sean John jeans, Rockaware shirt, and everything. And he's like, what the hell? And she was like, oh, yeah, this is your new stuff for this new town. He was like, I can't afford to pay you for that. She was like, friends don't have to pay each other for this. He was like, I'm your friend. You wanted me to prove to you this and that. He was like, I'm proving it to you. She was like, now do I have a place to stay? He was like, no problem. And that's when it clicked. They hugged each other, and that's when they actually bonded. And then it goes from there.
Wow. Jay Ray. So what's the girl's name?
Her name's Pam.
Oh, Pam. Okay. So JRLive and Pamela. All right. Cool. Yeah. That's a good story, man. Very interesting story. How they all come together. So there's going to be a series of these books then.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So what's his future like? I mean, I know now he's young. So what is he, like 15 now?
Yeah, he's 15 actually, and everybody. He's like basically he starts to put together like a little crew. Because nobody can understand how this guy is so young, but he holds the way he holds himself and the way he talks is so mature, because that's all he knows. Right. He knows how to take care of himself.
That's right. So Pamela's a runaway also.
Yeah, and it comes in to tell her story of how she ran away and what had happened to her.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about the runaways. You match that up with the kids that are missing. A lot of times when you see those missing posters of kids, it's like you think they're missing because they were abducted, but a lot of times they run away because we really don't know their situation in their home. We don't know why they're there. We just see a sign up said missing on this date. Say family, say please call this number. It's like they could have been adopted, and ran away. Police just have to do their routine investigation. Wow, man, that is something. And that's what's going on out there. I mean, you got a lot of runaways, man, that's making a living on the streets, man. That is something. Wow. Deep book. That's worth. Now, are you selling this book on paperback, or I see you selling it on the Kindle?
That one's digital. That's the one you either get on Nook or Kindle.
All right, so that's totally digital there. All right, so and you released another book called Gettin-it. So Razor is out now, released July 14th. You released Gettin-it in May. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit into this book. So what is this pretty much the storyline or the premise of Gettin-it?
Gettin-it is two best friends. It's Rob and Cool. Now, Rob was an all-star basketball player in high school, and he's supposed to, everybody's talking about, he had people trying to draft him and everything. He was going to go pro. Mm-hmm. He blew his knee out his senior year. So that dream was shattered because He had reconstructive knee surgery, and it never got right. He couldn't get full strength in it. He couldn't bend it fully. And it was just like, after that, he walked with a limp. But he's Rob. He was smart, you know what I mean? And he was used to being, you know, basically wooed after. He used to being a star. So basically he hung up his sneakers to be a new age baller in the game. And his friend Cool was basically his muscle. Cool looked after Rob because he was bigger and he was stronger, and he looked after Rob because Rob looked after him. Because Cool's situation was his mom and dad were both drug addicts.
Oh, wow.
They couldn't keep food in the house. They couldn't do nothing. And Rob used to actually sneak Cool into his house to spend a night and feed him whatever when his parents came home, because he was like, when he came home, they were going to be high, it wasn't going to be no food in the house, and they would beat on him.
Wow.
So he wasn't his blood brother, but it was like he treated him better than his family. And that's why he protected him the way he does, because that's all he knows is somebody who he looked out after him.
Yeah, right.
You know, he didn't judge him or whatever, And it got to the point where his mom and dad, they lost their water heater went in the house. So they didn't have no hot water in the house. And Cool took cold shower. He got used to taking cold showers. And his only treat was on the weekends when he spent the night over at Rob's house was to take a hot shower. That was like a treat to him. And he would feed him this food and everything and this and that. So he always looked out after him. So initially when he did wind up getting in, when Rob wind up getting in the drug game, it was just an interval that Cool would follow because that was his boy. So he became the muscle, and Rob became, you know,
the brains behind the operation. Wow.
And then Rob wind up meeting a young girl, Aisha. She was maybe 3 years younger than both. And Rob liked her, and he basically, before he started going with her, he just basically took her under his wing because he liked her. She was a booster. She hustled and everything, this and that. He was like, he stepped to her one night. She got a fake ID and went out to the club. He sits in a chair next to her. Girl, what you doing in here? You know you're too young to be in here. And then he sees her, and he sees her dress and everything. He's like, dang. He's like, yo, when we going to hook up? She was like, you just told me I'm too young to be in here, and now you're trying to push up on me. You know what I mean? It's like that. And he was like, come on, you know. She used to, her older sister that passed used to be a cheerleader for Rob. Like, Rob was, like, a little older than her.
Right.
So her sister was more Rob's age, and she was a cheerleader when Rob was his basketball star player. So Aisha was used to seeing Rob being like a superstar. But like now he on the streets and he basically a superstar. He has nice cars and this and that and everything. So it basically his hustle just switched. He's not a basketball star now, he's a hustler. And so and he winds up seeing something in her, like he winds up really falling for this girl. So she wanted to drop out of school, and he didn't want to drop out of school because he heard that she was too smart, and he was friends with her friend, which was Brooks. And Brooks is the guy that everybody knows in the neighborhood. You know, everybody has a guy in the neighborhood that has the hookups. If you don't got stickers for your car or you need a fake insurance card, that was Brooks. That was Brooks. I mean, that's his character. So he's friends with Aisha and Rob, but he's like, he's telling her, he's like, dang, Aisha, I miss you. I don't see you in school no more. She was like, you miss me or you miss cheating off my paper, you know, because she was really smart. And he was like, nah. He said, I just think you're too smart to quit school. And she starts flipping out on him. I ain't say nothing about quitting school, this and that. He was like, look, so I know your situation. And her sister, her older sister, had wind up, she was once their mom had passed away, she became like a prostitute to take care of her sister.
Oh, wow.
And then what wound up happening was her pimp, like the neighborhood pimp, it wasn't really specific, but everybody assumed that since once he became her pimp and he was caught beating her up a couple of times, that initially he wound up killing her. And it never said, but Aisha always thought in the back of her head, she's going to get this dude before she leaves this town, because she knew if he didn't kill her, he had something to do with her death.
Wow.
And now she's with Rob, and Rob's like, he's basically with Brooke. Like, no, you can't quit school, basically. And he wanted to basically use her as a way to get out of the game. And then he winds up making sure she graduates school, and then he pushes her to go to business school, so she can set up to help him launder his money in order for him to get out of the game.
Get out of here.
And she winds up like, because he has all the money in the world, he's making money hand with fist. Him and Cool taking over these neighborhoods, but everybody liked him, and it was hard for the cops to catch him because he put so much money back into the neighborhoods, as far as he wound up building up a youth center. He wound up getting a local laundromat. He winds up getting a little deli or whatever, and he gave like people who was like living from check to check, he gave them credit, and at the first of the month they pay him back, whatever. So he was like a menace to the neighborhood, but he was also helping the neighborhood.
Yeah, he was an enterprise.
Exactly. And it's like, and the way he did it, and it made him look so good. And he even basically, he donated money to like little charities, like the cops. They had the Police Athletic League. He was known for giving money to that. He was giving money to the church.
So Rob was like Robin Hood.
Yeah, basically. And so it's like, as much as they hated him, they needed him. It's like he made himself prevalent in the neighborhood, but people didn't. That's all he did once he got out of high school, was hustle. So people, when he was saying that he wanted to lead a game, and he was like, why would you want to lead a game? You just got so big and you're so smart in doing it. Why wouldn't you want to say? He was like, I don't want to. He was like, there's no old drug dealers or whatever. He said, I don't want to do this. He was like, I was supposed to be. Yeah, he was like, I was supposed to be a star. I wanted to be this and that and everything. He was like, this was just to hold me over to get out. So he winds up. It gets kind of like, it gets really intricate in it of how he does it, and like him and Isha, how they started growing apart, but she still had love for him and what he was doing and how he helped her. So it's like they're growing apart and they're going their separate ways, but she's helping him, he's still helping her. But and then the way it happens is like certain things happen in their life. He started messing with somebody else. Yeah. But he didn't want to hurt her, so he wound up telling her, like, look, this ain't working out, boom, boom. And she tells him because she was messing with somebody else because he wasn't spending as much time as he used to spend with her. So basically they grew their own way, but they were still, it was a neighborhood. It was like, close-knit neighborhood. Everybody knows everybody.
That's right.
So, but it gets really deep into it, and then it goes off into something else. Like the one of his guys in one of his biggest stash houses, he wants to throw a party for Cool. It's Cool's birthday party. And they were always watching a movie like Scarface and everything together. So for his birthday, he got him that yellow Cadillac that he got in Scarface. He got him that classic Cadillac, the yellow Cadillac with the the tiger stripe color. He wanted to get him that and everything for his birthday. And Cool had wound up going with this girl that was basically like the neighborhood hoe, and Rob was like kind of disappointed that he was like, come on, man. He was like, why would you hook up with her? You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows the thing. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. He was like, look, he said, I understand all of that, the rules and everything, but this, it's something about this girl. He likes this girl. But this girl, Zora, she's basically like a snake. But their main guy in one of their biggest stash houses that worked for him, that he taught the game and everything, his name is Jim. Cool has Jim pick up emerald green BMW convertible that he's buying for Zora. And he told him, like, look, when you get the BMW, this and that, he said, bring it to my party tonight. I want to surprise her. But while they having this party and he's getting him this Cadillac and they all chilling this and that, Jim goes to the stash house, opens his safe, cleans out their safe, and takes a BMW and just breaks down. He just leaves him, and he's like, wow. I mean, he was making so much money. He could have bought 4 of them cars 10 times over. And he decides to get Rob and Cool. So, and that's how, like, the second part will start off, is like basically how Jim screwed them over for so much money, but Cool wants to get him, because Cool, he didn't just take the money, he took Cool's car that he's supposed to give his girl, and Cool wants to get him, but Rob is like, yo, we're too big for that now. We can't worry about going after this flea. It can jeopardize everything we got. So it's like like the brains is telling the muscle, like, chill. But basically he's like, no, because it'll make us look soft. We can't let this dude get away with this and everything. So, and it goes from there.
Yeah, that's when things start taking a nosedive.
Exactly.
Oh, man. That was a great story you told, Deon. And we're going to get into the review real quick for the show close out on us. All right, man. Look like your readers so far are very happy with what you're putting out there, man, with this book and getting it. And this is what I think it's Corinne said. Wow, I am a sucker for a great book like this. You did an amazing job on this one. I'm so proud of you. I can tell you're very passionate about writing, and this comes out in your pages. It's amazing how you can touch readers' hearts, and I'm so proud of you. Keep up the amazing work. So that was a good write-up for you there. So obviously, you're a good storyteller, and it sounds like this guy kind of said your penmanship is just as good. And then your other reviews say, this fast-paced hood tale was so good. I definitely attention grabber with sex, lies, cheating, money, greed, double crossing, and so much more. I was on the edge of my recliner. It was a read in one setting. Aisha endured a lot in her young life. She linked back with a childhood friend named Rob, who was just a fool, or was just foul. And Rob and his friend Cool were getting it, all the big money, the drug game. Some wanted a chunk of their pie for free. I can't wait for part 2. Revenge, revenge, revenge. I really enjoyed getting it. And must read. DEON Hayes did a great job. So this person was really elated. They loved it. They loved it. Now it's definite. You put it out there that the first book, JRLive, the Chronicles. So what about getting it? How deep getting it is going to make it? How far should it go? Lifespan.
I'm thinking about making it. It's like I actually finished a part 2, and then I started like a part 3. So I'm probably going to finish it and wrap it up at part 3.
Good. Now, Deon, who are you published with?
Well, Getting It was published with 21st Street, and they're based out of L.A.
Oh, are they?
And yeah, they're based out of L.A. And I'm with Royal Dynasty Publishing now, and they're based out of Georgia. Okay. Atlanta, Georgia.
So Dynasty. So you both books they're gonna be split right now. So one is with Dynasty, one with 21st Street. So it's gonna be like that for a while, or
No,
you don't have no deals.
21st Street. Well, basically, they didn't. I gave them the option to pick up part 2, and they were kind of slow doing it, so I went with Real Dynasty. So I'm putting my other books out with Real Dynasty.
All right, cool, man. Congratulations with that, man. So how long did it take before you got signed? Or I mean, like, what happened? What transpired? Between these two publishers that got you signed so quickly with these book deals?
Well, the first one, when I went to 21st Street, what I liked about it was two young black girls who they were writers themselves, and they graduated from UCLA, and they had their little quips with the publishing world, so they didn't like it, so they figured they wanted to change it, and they started their own publication company. And I was one of the first authors they signed to help them start off their label.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that, and they came out. It's like the concept I came up with, the cover, they hit it right on the nail. Like usually, if you come up with a cover, your people they'll make up something and then be like, boom, they'll send you a copy and like, nah, not that, change this or whatever. But with Getting It, I said I wanted 2 guys and a girl. They're the main 3 characters. A dark-skinned guy, light-skinned guy, and a dark-skinned girl. And boom, they hit it right on the nail. They did exactly what I wanted the first time.
The guy looked a little bit like Kevin Hart a little bit from in a smaller thumbnail with a hat on backwards. And the other cat looked like Chris Brown.
The one with the shade, that's cool.
Yeah, you got a little bit of Brandy in the middle there with the young lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Familiar faces. That's all right. It is a good looking cover, man. Definitely tells you, what you expected to read out of this book. All right, man. So wow, that's great. So you about to release the second book of, you said Getting It, right?
Yeah,
and,
Getting It. Second book is Jim's theme.
And you're on the third one right now. So you're gonna always stay with street lit, man? Because I'm noticing some characters starting to switch up, man. They going to like romance and erotica. Some of them switching over to horror. So many different genres. Self-help books in the making.
And I actually did what to switch my genre over, because I don't want to just stay. I mean, I want my street lit crowd, and I want to keep pleasing him, but I want to go to other genres. And I started this book I'm writing on now. It's called Numb, and it's like a lot different from what I've been writing, and it's more laid back and everything, this and that. And I have a couple other books in it that's going, and I'll probably come out under a pen name, The Dreamer, since that was my poetry name.
The Dreamer.
Probably come out under with that, with my to see a different audience and see what kind of reaction I get from it.
Oh, you said you're going to change your pen name?
No, I will use that as a pen name for this other genre.
Yeah.
So I'll keep my name as for my street lit stuff. That's and then use The Dreamer as my pen name for my other genre.
So the one you're thinking about, you said it's called Numb. That's a horror. That's a horror flick.
No, it's basically it's basically like somebody going through hard times or whatever. It's just on like basically more like this guy, the guy and the girl in the story. The main characters is white. And what happens is it's like in the suburbs / trailer park. It's like a different hood.
Yeah, it is.
So and it's it's not like the drugs are like they're ecstasy and they're pill poppers and it's like stuff like that. It's only like
chemical made substances.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, kind of like Bad. What was that series, man? Walking Bad. What's the name of the flick on cable? They teach
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah. I got into that a little bit last summer, but then it was just a little bit too much. Let that one go. Yeah. Wow, man. So I say congratulations to you, man. Sounds like you got a future in writing. You're happy with your fan base. You're out there pumping it out in the social media. Now, how has social media compared to offline promotion been for you? Because I know it's starting. I think we're at 18% with people going straight to digital, and the numbers are getting higher now. So how are you embracing that?
I'm liking it to a certain point. It's like some people are some old school, which I am, and they just like to fill out a paperback. It's just that the much as you want to give it to them, the literary world is trying to wean that out.
You sure are.
You know, I would love to come out with a digital book, paperback, each. You know what I mean? Keep doing both of them, but it's not what the world wants anymore.
Yeah, man, so fast. I mean, the digital, that's what they want. The digital device is making it happen.
Even if you don't have a Kindle or Nook, it's like you have an iPad or whatever, you can get the Kindle app.
Yeah, I read on my iPhone, man, all the time. And I must say, this thing, Sprint, had a special where they've been giving away 6-inch tablets for $5 a month. So if you're one of those people like to read, that's a perfect. It's nice and light. The Kindle, I think, is a little heavier, but you're only reading about 2 lines at a time anyway. So 6-inch tablet would be perfect. Put that right in your pocket. For your. Plus, you got so many people commuting now. Yeah. And then you're working at your desk, and you don't have your book with you because you left it home. Yeah. Bam.
Exactly.
But you know what, though,
Dion? With the Kindles and the Nooks, you can carry like 40 or 50 books with you at one time.
Yeah, load it down. Absolutely. But what I was going to say, man, I always thought that the purpose of the digital devices and the publications were for people who, you're leaving your books back home and, you're going on vacation or, you're going to be in class and you want to check on a paper, you need some information real quick for research. I thought it was going to be for like quick reads and you still own the book. I didn't think it was going to just go 100% in that one direction. What's your thought on that?
I mean, I like I said, it's kind of like a gift and a curse. Like, I like it to an extent, but like when I show them on my phone, I'm like, yeah, that's my new cover. He's like, oh, when can I get the book? I was like, well, it's digital, and everybody don't have. Like, you automatically assume in this day and age, 2014, everybody has a DVD player. There's certain people who still got VCRs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's like there's a lot of people that don't have that. And they was like, well, I don't have that. And you'd be like, well, and they want your book. Mm-hmm. So it's like those are the ones you wish you had paperbacks on. And you'd be like, all right, well, I got this in paperback here.
Well, how about you just send them? Yeah, they can't print the PDF file out for them, but you can't get no money off of that. Now, these people you're talking about, Deon, so they don't own smartphones? No smartphones?
Yeah, the one girl that she got, like, she wanted to get on. She was like, oh, my God, I'm reading this book now. She was because the Chronicles-of-Jay-razor is 99 cents. Mm-hmm. And it's like, when I got, like, a gift card for mine, it's like you get, like, 10 99-cent books, $10. Mm-hmm. You can't beat that. And then if you don't got that, I'm sitting in my daughter's gymnastics class, and I'm like, all right, let me read one of these books. And you get into it so fast, and you're like, wow.
Yep, done. Yeah, 2 hours. Like I'm sitting at the football game. My son practiced 2 hours. Just keep an eye on him. Of course, I'm going to hit Facebook up, see what's going on, any new releases, new authors. And then I say, let me go ahead and read this book real quick, this sample page on Amazon real quick, because I got a guest coming on. And then the book is good. And I said, wow, I like this book, and download it, Next thing you know, I own it, and I can catch it at lunchtime. I'm at the point now, man, where I don't even really feel like having lunch with people anymore because I need to catch up with my reading.
Exactly.
And then you have people sneaking their tablets on their desk, and they're sitting right in front of them on in one of those little cases, and they're reading their book or downloading it to the computer, and the boss don't know if they're reading policy or reading a book. You can't tell. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So it's what it is, man. I think the world going to slow down a little bit because everybody's reading. But that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, definitely.
We need to read. And too, man, I think the digital age is going to enhance children, our young people's interest in reading, so they can get away from those video games and say, hey, man, I saw a good book. You want to try it out? I'm going to send it to your phone. And they say, okay. I think that's a good thing right there. So we'll see, where the world's going, man. And look, Deon, it's time for us to get out of here, bro. And I appreciate you being here. But any final thoughts, man, for our listeners? Anything good they need to know before we get you out of here?
I just want to say it was a pleasure being on your show and everything. But for my readers, I got plenty more coming for you, and it's like everything. I'm just switching genres, but I'm gonna stay prevalent in the genres I'm in. So just keep looking out for new stuff from me, and I won't let you down.
Yeah, man. Sound like you having a good time, man. So you said you happy, aren't you, Deon? You married for 11 years. You got 4 kids, and you having a ball with these books, man. You live in your world, man. That is all right.
Sir.
All right. So what do you do for a living?
Actually, I work in Estee Lauder,
the
makeup company. I'm a material handler. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. That's right. 'Cause you up in Pennsylvania, are you, right?
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the Procter & Gamble organizations have small.
Parks.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right, man. That's all right. So you hang in there, God bless you with a good family, man. Keep the family together. Wish your son, good luck getting out of school and his career. So we appreciate you, bro. So if anybody you'd like to, if you'd like to refer anybody from the company, if you're still doing business with the young ladies you was talking about, I'd love to get in contact with them, man. See if we can bring any of their authors on board and have our listeners, check them out. All right.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is JRLive Live and PositivePower21.org. That was Deon Hayes. Check out his book, Getting It, and the Chronicles of Jay-Razor. I love that whole storyline of the Jay-Razor. Very interesting, very creative, man. Very creative. All right, take care, and we out. Oops, wrong one. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Boyce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. And don't forget about replay. You can hear these shows as many times as you like. Help support these authors. Some of them out there on their own. The books are very reasonably priced. So have a ball shopping. Take care, everybody. I'm JRLive Live. Peace. Thanks, Deon.